Okay, so the new leaks for Ragnarok Chapter 62 just dropped, and to be completely honest, it's not looking too good for Qin Shi Huang right now, because if you guys have already seen the spoilers, then you guys know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, then of course that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But of course, before we get into all that good stuff, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because if you can't already tell, I post quite a bit of Ragnarok content. So if you like that stuff, then this channel is definitely for you. But apart from that, let's just start off with reading the text spoilers. These are like the spoilers that are written out, and I'll show the panels afterwards and talk about my thoughts and everything else. So these chapter 62 spoilers kind of go like this. I'm pretty sure this is not everything about the spoilers, so just bear that in mind, but I will show the panels afterwards. Not all of them because of copyright, etc, but you guys get the gist of it. I'll show you just the stuff that's important. But let's start off with these worded spoilers. So Hades has drenched his spear with his blood, generating a new power, but it seems that this power shortens his life, so it is a battle against time. So this, I guess, kind of suggests that Hades versus Qin Shi Huang is already it's kind of coming to the end of it, because I mean, since we're starting to get these new power-ups and everything, it's kind of signaling that, you know, this fight is slowly starting to wrap up chapter by chapter. Next, it says Hades is damaged but has the will to be able to weaken the version of Qin who thus not able to see his chi correctly. And I guess this is kind of suggesting that maybe Hades, this new power up from Hades, is kind of, I guess, messing with Qin's like whole chi thing, which I guess of course is pretty bad for Qin Shi Huang, because that's kind of his whole fighting style. So if he's disoriented and is kind of confused and that's all messed up, then it kind of means that Qin Shi Huang is kind of at a disadvantage. And this fight is starting to kind of convince me that this matchup was pretty bad for Qin Shi Huang in the first place, because, you know, Qin Shi Huang can feel the damage of Hades, and last chapter Hades stabbed himself, so that was even more damage for Qin Shi Huang. And of course it's kind of like a fair trade, but at the same time Qin Shi Huang is, you know, he seems like he's getting like the full brunt of the attack, if anything. And since Hades is starting to get this like new power up, then, you know, it's looking pretty bad for him. That's all I have to really say. But next it says Hades rips Qin's hand off, and once again it's kind of showing us that it looks pretty bad for Qin Shi Huang right now. And I'm guessing that this chapter is kind of to make us believe that, you know, Qin Shi Huang is probably going to lose, but who knows, Qin Shi Huang in the next chapter could just pull something out of nowhere. But finally it says Hades also gets a new weapon called Desmos and uses a skill to harm Qin called Eos. So I'm guessing this is like, you know, Hades's upgraded version of his bident, I'm guessing, because from what I've seen from the panels that have been leaked, it kind of looks like Hades's blood has kind of transformed his bident into like his, you know, into the next form, which I guess is called the Desmos, which I guess sounds pretty accurate. It sounds pretty overpowered. But anyway, let's go on to like the paneled stuff. So the panel stuff is kind of showing us that, of course, Hades looks like he's pretty much overwhelming Qin Shi Huang right now, which kind of makes sense because, you know, the worded spoilers has kind of told us this already. But again, with the panels, it looks like, of course, Hades looks like he's taken a lot of damage here. But of course, as I said before, you know, Qin Shi Huang looks like he's taking more damage despite Hades looking like he took more damage, if that makes any sense. But of course, the next panel that I guess I deem more important than the rest is kind of like, I guess, Hermes and Ares explaining kind of what Hades is doing with his whole blood and changing his bident into, well, I guess upgrading his bident into something more powerful. Which again, I guess is also pretty important because, as I said before, this new bident, I'm guessing, is going to be like, you know, Hades's final, like, I guess, final form. Technically not Hades himself has a form, but Hades' weapon's final form, if that makes any sense. And of course, we still need to go into Hades' whole backstory and everything. So maybe that might come, you know, maybe we might have some extra set of spoilers, because these spoilers seem a bit short and they seem a bit like incomplete. But if that's the case, then I will make like a part 2 to this. But once the next spoilers come out, I'm guessing it might go into Hades' backstory a little bit. But if we don't, then I'm expecting Hades' backstory to be in the next chapter, of course. But moving on, as I was saying, we see that in the spoilers, in the worded spoilers, it says that Qin loses his arm, and it's shown here in the panel as well. Hades just straight up pierces through Qin Shi Huang's like defense, and of course we know that Qin can kind of deflect anyone's attack using like his chi and everything. So I'm guessing, the whole thing about his chi being disrupted kind of comes into play here, because he's not able to like deflect any of Hades's like piercing attacks. So as I said before, the whole chi thing is pretty important. But moving on, that's pretty much like all of the spoiler panels that I think are like the most important to show. And of course we see that Qin right now is on the floor, and he's looking pretty damaged. And of course, as I said before, Qin right now looks like he's gonna lose, and it's kind of weird because I actually thought Qin was gonna win in the last chapter, but it looks like now he's looking like he's gonna lose. And it's kind of weird because I'm guessing the author is trying to like do kind of like a thing where in one chapter we believe someone else is gonna win, and the next chapter our mind changes, etc, etc. But I'm still pretty confident that I think maybe Hades is going to win this fight, because as I said from the very beginning, Hades, I've always had my money on Hades. I always thought Hades was going to win. So now everything is just kind of coming full circle, and I'm guessing that, maybe in the next 2-3 chapters we might see the conclusion of this fight. Maybe 5 chapters maximum, but after those 5 chapters, this fight should pretty much be over, because both of these guys look like they've taken considerable damage. So if they continue fighting any longer, then it will start to become a little bit redundant. But I mean, regardless, this fight was still pretty good. I mean, this fight has definitely improved in these last like 2-3 chapters, so I'm always happy that's the case. But that's pretty much it for the spoilers, to be honest. Tell me what you guys think about these spoilers, because for me personally, of course, I'm not too surprised that Hades is winning, because as I said before, this whole matchup with Qin and Hades was kind of bad for Qin Shi Huang in the first place. He seemed like he was at the, kind of at a disadvantage, not from the very beginning, because the author kind of he kind of convinced us that maybe Qin was like this all-powerful, defense god, but it looks like Qin does have weaknesses as well. But yeah, as I said, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And apart from that, I'll see you in my next video.